AIM-listed Poolbeg Pharma, POLB, was recently spun out of fast-growing vaccine and antiviral testing group, Orphan, and is now pioneering the most advanced scientific practices in researching and developing treatments for infectious diseases. Executive Chairman Cathal Friel and CEO Jeremy Skillington join me today. Gentlemen, welcome, and how are you both?
Doing well, Alan. How are you?
Yeah, very good indeed, thanks. Very good indeed. So to start with, we have a slide here covering Poolbeg's business model. Can you provide a brief overview of the Poolbeg business and what is meant by the capital light approach? And I'll bring that up now.
Alan, Cathal, I'm Friel, I might answer that. And the reason I'm so excited about Poolbeg is it's taken a little while for the market to understand what's unique. Look, we've all invested in many AIM-listed companies that have a product or two, and it's kind of roll the dice and see what happens. Whereas the capital light early monetization, our plan is unique. There's nobody else in the London market anything like this. There is one company, it's in Germany, it's called Evotech, who did it. And they've had a 15x uplift in the last 5 years. And guess what? They passed 7.5 billion market cap last week. And then they IPO'd on NASDAQ as of Friday evening. So that's pretty cool. So that's a good product to copy. And really what we're doing, instead of having this one or two trick ponies, we're developing up to the end of phase 1. We'll do the low cost preclinical. We'll do the phase 1, which will be 1B or 1A. And then we start this process. So that's all about the development assets. The big issue when you move beyond phase 1, and particularly infectious disease, it gets very expensive. So we will only spend 1 to 2 million, 3 million maximum. We have 25 million. We'll put 5 or 6 products in the next 5-6 months and start working our way through them. And that's where it gets really exciting. But really simply then, we start out licensing. You'll see at the moment we have other products with Predict Viral, we have the vaccine platform, and the plan would be Poolbeg comes self-funding within the first 2 to 3 years. Middle slide, very important. People get kind of carried away, oh, it'll take forever, ever. Inflamzone, Jeremy's previous company, one deal, 380 million upfront. There was only one patient dosed with that in phase 1. So people should be aware, we'll have 5 or 6 products. Any one of them could have that 300 or 400 million upfront. So hopefully you understand the upside is huge, and say we'll start having cash coming in 12 to 18 months. So hopefully that clarifies a capital light early monitor. We're never going into this heavy lifting, digging a large hole in the ground and pouring more cash in.
Of course. You mentioned POLB 001, which of course was spun out of Orphan and really lit the blue touch paper under Poolbeg. It acts as an inhibitor to prevent and reduce inflammation in patients with respiratory conditions. Can you expand on this, Jeremy?
Yeah, happy to do that. Yeah, very excited about this product. We'll be testing this in humans next year. It hits a target called P38. And in this image here, you can see that when an influenza virus is recognized by the immune system, it activates a whole host of pathways. Key among them is P38. And what P38 then, it drives that immune response. And in a case of severe influenza, it drives it too hard. So there's too much of an overactivation of the immune response. And what you see here is you end up getting a cytokine storm, which is actually more damaging to the patient than the virus that triggers it. So what our POLB 001 does is blocks P38. So it blocks the downstream pathways and blocks the cytokine storm, so patients are able to recover a lot quicker. And I think it'll be a good drug in that regard. And very excited about moving this forward. And as I said, we'll be in humans testing that middle of next year.
Superb. Excellent. And there is, of course, the database of clinical samples and human challenge trial data, plus biomarker and vaccine discovery platforms. Cathal, to you, are these Orphan assets or are they unique to Poolbeg?
Yeah, they're unique to Poolbeg. The only Orphan asset that remains is for disease progression data. Like Orphan is the world's largest database of disease progression data. Orphan retains all rights to that for further clinical trials. We're the world's largest company that tests the vaccines, antivirals. However, Poolbeg has acquired the data and have free access to the next 30 months from IPO to do what they like with, as long as it's for the development of pharmaceutical products, particularly in infectious disease. So very simple. Poolbeg can develop the drugs. Open Orphan retain the core data for improving the clinical trials and doing things. So that hopefully clarifies any misunderstandings about that. It was paid for by basically every Open Orphan shareholder got an equal pro rata shareholding in Poolbeg free of charge. So hopefully that's been well paid for. Predict viral biomarker, that is exclusively Poolbeg's. Vaccine discovery, exclusively Poolbeg. And there's a pipeline of other very early stage products. So very simple. Poolbeg is taking the vaccine infectious disease assets portfolio. Open Orphan remain the world's leading clinical trials company testing drugs. It retains the data, but it's been licensed out for 30 months.
Excellent. Okay. So back to the IPO, you raised 25 million in an oversubscribed IPO. What does the cash runway look like at present?
Yeah, it could last out to 3 or 4 years at least. But what I've said earlier, the company comes self-funding 12, 18 months. Cash starts coming in. If 001 works, Jeremy could be getting 3, 4, 500 million upfront. His first patients are going in 12 months' time. In his last company, only one patient got dosed, and ching, 300+ million cash up front. So yeah, that pathway is, we're unique. We're not going back raising further strips of cash. The fundraising is done. There's enough assets there. We've got a whole plethora of assets to come in, and we start working them through pretty fast.
Excellent, excellent. Open Orphan shareholders, of course, own Poolbeg stock. I'm an Open Orphan shareholder, so very excited about it. And of course, it's traded steadily since the IPO. What value inflection points can shareholders and new Poolbeg investors look forward to both in Q4 and in early 2022?
Yeah, it's a good question, Alan. And we've been exceedingly busy in the background. We've got a number of deals that are on the table. First of all, we'll be announcing very soon the progress update on POLB 001, and that's around manufacturing, formulation, and actually setting up our clinical trials for next year. So very excited about that. There's a lot of progress going on there. And we mentioned earlier on about this disease progression data. We're going to actually interrogate, we're going to mine that using artificial intelligence. So we've talked to a lot of companies in that space who will identify new targets and pathways that are involved in both influenza and RSV, two very serious viral diseases. So that'll be coming down the pike soon, and we'll be announcing those deals. And then thirdly, we're actually just in discussions as well, but bringing in other assets, some other infectious disease assets. Then, as Cathal said, the 5 to 6 assets that we'll progress further into human early testing and prepare them for pharma for partnering. So there's a lot of activity going on in the background. So there'll be a lot of news flow coming in the very near future describing these activities.
Sounds very exciting indeed. And it certainly looks as though we're entering a potentially transformational phase for the company.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, as I say, we just 3+ months of since the IPO, a lot of work going on in the background. But yeah, the next 6, 9, 12 months will be very exciting for the company. I can't wait.
Excellent. Neither can we. Cathal Friel and Jeremy Skillington, thank you both for joining us today.
Appreciate it, Alan.
Alan, thank you very much for your time.